Just one day after the California billionaire tax qualified for the November ballot, Governor Gavin Newsom is now calling for a national billionaire tax. Good Friday evening. Thanks so much for joining us on To The Point. I'm Laura Painter. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen is here to explain the differences in both proposals and what the timing could mean. Jeannie.
Well, Laura, the timing of Governor Gavin Newsom's proposal is notable because he's been an open critic of the state billionaire tax measure. But those behind the state measure say this one-time tax will help fund health care. Political insiders believe this will just end up confusing voters leading into November.
It's time for a national billionaires tax and a new social contract.
On Friday, Governor Gavin Newsom announced his proposal to tax billionaires nationwide.
A true minimum tax on billionaires that ensures the people at the very top pay at least the tax rate their own workers pay. We also should end this tax-free lifestyle loan. This is the gimmick that allows the ultra-wealthy to borrow against their stock portfolios while reporting no taxable income.
The governor also pitching the idea of an AI national public equity fund that allows Americans to have a piece of that growth. But this proposal comes less than a day after the state's billionaire tax measure qualified for the November ballot. It would be a one-time 5% tax on the state's billionaires that could possibly generate billions to go towards health care.
Why is it that he's evading a real solution for the state that he's the governor of and distracting us to a future presidential campaign that he's clearly waging is not an answer to the people who've already voted for him and put him in office.
Newsom has been openly critical of the state's billionaire tax measure, which is backed by SEIU Healthcare Workers West. He believes the state's measure limits who would benefit from it and would drive out billionaires from the state. Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna argues that Governor Newsom is on the side of the billionaires.
We cannot have a country or a Democratic Party that continues to defer to them because we want their money for our campaigns or because we want their money for our super PACs.
Political insider and editor-in-chief of Capitol Weekly, Rich Eisen, believes Newsom's proposal is a calculated political move, but notes that as California's governor, he has no authority to enact the national tax he's advocating for.
They would have to have a tremendous amount of national support, congressionally and from the states. It's just not something that any one person could do.
Adding that Governor Newsom would have opposed the state measure regardless of who benefits from the tax.
He gets a lot of support from the tech industry. I mean, he's just convened, his 25-person tech advisory council that's filled with some of the biggest players in Silicon Valley. I mean, he's very close to the tech industry, which is where most of our billionaires in California come from.
And I want to note that there will be two ballot measures competing against the billionaire tax come November that are being backed by Google founder Sergey Brin. One would audit programs funded by new taxes and could potentially negate the billionaire tax. The other would prohibit new personal property taxes. Now, if one of the countermeasures passes along with the billionaire tax, the one with the most yes votes would prevail. Laura.
All right, good to know. Jeannie Nguyen, thank you.